Welcome back to Talkin' Winter Ops and our special series highlighting organizations working in the winter operations and road weather space. I'm Rick Nelson, and on behalf of the AASHTO Committee on Maintenance, their Maintenance Operations Technical Working Group, and the Winter Weather Management Technical Service Program, we're proud to host the 2024 National Winter Maintenance and Road Weather Briefing. These briefings give organizations an opportunity to showcase their efforts to help you achieve your winter maintenance mission. Today, we're featuring the American Meteorological Society's ITS Surface Transportation Committee, and here to fill us in is Committee Chair Amanda Anderson. Hi, Amanda.
Rick.
So, Amanda, how about we go through your slide deck and you fill us in on what's happening there at the American Meteorological Society?
Yeah, sounds great. So first, I just wanted to start with what the American Meteorological Society, or AMS, is for anyone that isn't familiar. The mission of the AMS is to advance the atmospheric and related sciences, technologies, applications, and services for the benefit of society. It was founded in 1919, with the primary membership being from the U.S. Signal Corps and the U.S. Weather Bureau, which were precursors to our current National Weather Service. Today, there are over 13,000 members of the AMS in nearly 100 countries across the world. And the AMS's main function is to host conferences and meetings across many disciplines, present honors and awards, publish peer-reviewed journals, of which there are 12, along with other books and special collections, and advocate for atmospheric and related sciences. And part of the way that advocation and information sharing is done is through our different committees. Our Surface Transportation Committee sits under the Board on Enterprise Economic Development, which is part of the Commission on the Weather, Water, and Climate Enterprise. And the goal of our committee is to continue to build and strengthen the bridge between the meteorological and surface transportation communities in order to support investments in interdisciplinary solutions that are aimed at reducing human and financial costs of adverse weather's impacts on surface transportation. We're made up of, I think, 12 members currently. We have equal representation from public, private, and academic sectors, and almost 50-50 representation from the weather side of the research and applications, as well as the transportation community. We also have ex officio members from the Federal Highway Administration, the Transportation Research Board, and the Interagency Council for Advancing Meteorological Services. So our main accomplishment this past year is that we recently hosted and organized an Automated Vehicles and Meteorology Summit. This took place in Ann Arbor, Michigan on the 25th through 27th of June 2024. If you're looking at the slide deck, those are some members of our organizing committee at the conference there. The summit began with a tour of the M City Automated Vehicle Testbed Facility. A really unique feature of this automated vehicle testbed is because it's located in Michigan, there's a lot of adverse weather impacts, in particular winter impacts. So we were really excited to be able to tour this facility. And then this was followed by 2 days of presentations and discussions. The different sessions included representation from a variety of automated vehicle testbeds, a day that was dedicated to data and policy, and as well as sessions on communication, readiness, and simulation tools, along with a research poster session. And it was a fantastic opportunity for the public, private, and academic sectors to come together across weather and transportation communities and discuss different pressing issues related to automated vehicle readiness for adverse weather conditions. Follow-up activities will include a meeting summary that we hope to publish in the Bulletin of the American Meteorological Society, or BAMS magazine, an automated vehicles and meteorology session at the upcoming AMS annual meeting, which I'll get to in a moment, and a future meeting that will be in coming years, so stay tuned. We previously went about 6 years between these summits due to COVID lockdowns, but we're planning to do our next one much sooner than that. I've also included a link in the PowerPoint slide for additional information about the meeting, including the sessions, and then after a few months, the talks and presentations should be opened up as well. I mentioned the annual meeting. This is one of our main activities that we do every year. This past year's annual meeting was held in Baltimore, Maryland from the 28th of January through the 1st of February. We had a morning session that was an automated vehicles panel lead up to our summit that I just mentioned, that was then followed by a weather in the road session where different presenters discussed decision support systems or different research that they're doing in the road weather space. Went very well with excellent presentations and really lively discussions centered around that. We're really excited about our upcoming annual meeting, which will be in New Orleans, Louisiana from the 12th through the 16th of January. Highly encourage anyone listening involved in road weather research and operations to submit an abstract to the call for papers. Another way that you can participate is you can attend the ITS Surface Transportation Committee meeting that we'll be holding on the side during the annual meeting, which will be open to anybody that wants to sit in and listen. The reason we're so excited is because this year we're sponsoring 5 different session opportunities. In the Environmental Information Processing Technologies Conference, we'll have our typical Weather in the Road session. We're also going to have an automated vehicles and meteorology session as a follow-on to the summit from this summer. And we have a session on decision support systems that are used for transportation. We are also co-hosting with the Weather, Water, and Climate Enterprise Symposium a session on Pathfinder, which is an initiative between the Federal Highway Administration and National Weather Service on consistent communication of road weather hazards and forecasts. And finally, we have a joint session with the Energy Conference, which is about transportation and energy. So looking at weather impacts and climate impacts of electric vehicles, different alternative energy sources, as well as how the weather might impact those vehicles. So kind of that two-way street. So highly encourage anybody who is listening to submit an abstract to that call for papers, select the appropriate conference and topic from the list that's on the PowerPoint slide here. We have several other initiatives we've been working on over the year and will be working on continuing into the next year. We're updating our website so that it's a little more useful to get information on what we're doing and engage with us. We're also interacting with other committees on our board. One of the steps we've taken is to hold that joint energy and transportation session. And then a couple more initiatives that I'll get into are our urban air mobility initiative, and that we have a one-stop shop for research references initiative. So for urban air mobility, we're looking at the space between surface transportation, where we work, and also regulated airspace, where the aviation folks work. This will be where urban air mobility is operating, most often looking at autonomous vehicles with that operation. So it's in the boundary layer. It's really highly affected by buildings, surface, friction between the atmosphere and that surface layer. But it's not really covered by us in road weather, and it's not really covered by aviation, which is working in regulated airspace for the most part. So the first step we took in this initiative was to look at activities that are happening in Utah. It's chaired by Brittany Welch, who is a doctoral candidate at the University of Utah. So that's why she started the information gathering there. Utah DOT has an implementation plan in place looking at the next 30 years of unmanned aerial vehicles for people and packages. They also recently launched their first air taxi from a vertiport and demoed that the surrounding residential areas were not negatively impacted, such as by noise from that vehicle. They also released an infrastructure and regulatory study that mapped current and needed weather infrastructure. This also included recommendations of additional road weather information system stations with high quality wind and visibility observing equipment. So the participants in the initiative are next going to investigate activities that are happening in other areas of the United States as well as around the world, and we'll be preparing a summary of what's going on globally and where weather is being taken into account in those different activities. Our one-stop shop for research references initiative is joint between us, the Transportation Research Board, and Federal Highways, looking to assemble an integrated database of road weather research, which includes reports, publications, and institutions that are performing this kind of research. So first, the committee looked for feedback on whether or not the community saw value in such a repository. It did come up as a need at this Automated Vehicles and Meteorology Summit we just held. And we've gotten feedback that it would be helpful not only for researchers and students to connect with each other, but also for those who are reviewing publications that maybe aren't as well versed in the road weather space, to help them look at what the literature review, the body of literature up to this point looks like. So the vision is to integrate with existing federal highways and road weather management program resources with state reports, journal articles, and TRB's TRID repository, and will likely be hosted by an academic institution. So as that initiative moves forward, stay tuned for seeing that repository available to the community. I also want to mention our guest speakers initiative. For anybody listening, this is a fairly new initiative we started up last year, where you get a chance to present your work at one of our committee meetings. We hold these quarterly, so 4 times a year. And the goal isn't necessarily to make a presentation so much as it is to get in touch with either the weather or the transportation enterprise, depending on what you're looking for. So an example is we had the National Weather Service Winter Program. Gave a short presentation on their recent snow squall warning product, and their intent was to reach out to the transportation community to discuss ways that this warning could be communicated in cab for those that are out on the road. And then the committee follows up with further reaching out to the weather or transportation enterprise on your behalf to help you make those connections. So from our NWS example, the follow-up was that one of our committee members helped the presenters reach out to the Federal Highway Administration, the Road Weather Management Program, set up some webinars to continue that conversation with the transportation community. And then finally, I want to mention that we've reconnected with ICAMS. This is, there was a recent shakeup in the organization of the Office of the Federal Coordinator for Meteorology, kind of during COVID lockdowns, where they were reorganized into the Interagency Council for Advancing Meteorological Services, or ICAMS. This is the formal mechanism for which the U.S. federal departments can organize across themselves meteorological services and research and operations. So ICAMS is interested in automated vehicles, both ground and air, observations related to that, and really all meteorological observations, artificial intelligence, edge computing, and mesoscale forecasting. Those interests are those that coincide with our committee. So we have someone from ICAMS sitting on our committee for each meeting so that we can continue to engage regarding policy and collaboration between federal and other sectors in the road weather space. So this is another opportunity if you're looking to connect with different federal agencies. The guest speaker series would be a great way to get in touch with ICAMS, or just reaching out to me. I'll leave my contact info at the end of the presentation. I also want to mention that we do have a mobile observations subcommittee that's part of our main committee. They wrapped up work this year on a survey of departments of transportation and how they use mobile observations in their departments. The results of that survey was mentioned at last year's AMS briefing and also was presented at the AMS annual meeting this past January. Our chair, Paul Hepner, has stepped down, and now Curtis Walker from NCAR will be chairing that subcommittee, looking at steering that committee in the future for how mobile observations are being used in relation to connected electric and automated vehicles. So if you're interested in this space, you don't have to be a member of the ITS Surface Transportation Committee in order to join the subcommittee. You can reach out to Curtis Walker at ucar.edu if you're interested in participating in that subcommittee. We're also getting regular briefings from NOAA's Winter Storm Severity Index. I did want to mention this, even though our committee isn't directly involved in this work, we are providing feedback and having that conversation as one of our recurring reports. And I'm mentioning it because the Winter Storm Severity Index is piloting a new travel product. Dana Tobin is the science lead of that, and she's always happy to answer questions or discuss that work. She can be reached dana.tobin@noaa.gov. One item of interest is that they are incorporating a subfreezing road probability model and precipitation forecast into that travel product. They also have a sister project related to Pathfinder, which is that consistent messaging initiative between Federal Highways and NOAA. And in the PowerPoint are links to two papers that have been recently published related to that work. Or again, Dana's always happy to take questions and have conversations related to the WSSI. So we do welcome participation from the public, private, and academic sectors. Please feel free to contact me if you have any interest in participating in the committee, want to hear more about our initiatives, have any questions about what was presented today, or if you would like to reach out to be part of the guest speaker series. I'm also very happy to help with anything related to submitting an abstract for the AMS annual meeting if you're interested in any of those 5 sessions. I can be reached at aander@ucar.edu. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Amanda. Say, do you have the URL for your website?
I can find it. We're still making updates. It's not super useful right now, so I didn't include it, but I can provide that to you.
Okay, sure. And what we'll do is we'll put the links that you did mention in the show notes, and they'll be listed below this video, as well as your contact information and the invitation for folks to reach out and try to get engaged or just learn more about what it is that you all are working on.
Yep.
So Amanda's contact information and links to the website are listed below this video and in the notes, so you can reach out and learn more about ITS and surface transportation at the American Meteorological Society. You can listen to all the briefings and other Talkin' Winter Ops episodes on our talkinwinterops.com website or wherever you get your podcast content. Video versions are available on Talkin' Winter Ops YouTube channel. Until next time, thanks for tuning in and stay safe out there.